75 hard. What is it? What were my results? How has it transformed me as a business leader and owner? What are my next steps? Would I recommend it? Let's go. 80 days ago, I realized that I needed to make some changes in my life. I reached a point where I was like, I don't really feel comfortable in my skin anymore. I feel like I'm not recognizing myself in pictures. It was impacting my self-confidence. And although those things feel very like visual or physical in nature, and they are, it really was pointing down to some deeper habits and issues for me, which was I was constantly putting my work first, and if something needed to give or go in the day, my time to take care of myself was the first thing that I sacrificed. That put me on a determined path to make some changes, which for me looked like taking on the 75 Hard Challenge. So there's a really good chance if you're watching this video that you already know what the 75 Hard Challenge is, but just in case, to make sure that we're all on the same page, it is a challenge established by Andy Frisella, and it covers 5 basic principles that you must meet and obtain on a daily basis for 75 days in a row. Those 5 things are: drink a gallon of water, get in 2 45-minute workouts a day, and one of those has to be outside, follow a diet of your choice, but no alcohol, take a progress picture every day, and then read 10 pages of a nonfiction book. The goal of this challenge is not necessarily physical fitness or changing the way that your physique looks, although that oftentimes is a byproduct given what those goals are. It, however, is meant to establish mental toughness. So, why did I decide that this is a challenge that I wanted to do, and how did I do it? I am a small business owner and a restaurant owner in Greensboro, North Carolina. I have a social impact model to my business, and given all of those things and just who I am as a person and personality, I was like, I'm not actually looking to develop mental toughness. I know that I have that. I am, however, wanting to develop taking care of myself as a daily priority, and I want to stop putting myself last. It's impacting me emotionally, mentally, physically, and so I really wanted to get ahead of that, and having structure and having goals is a way for me to be motivated, to stick to a plan, to see something through. So that was something that drew me to this particular challenge, was just how structured and routine it was, and I liked the overall balance of all of those goals. And it was something that, shout out to my sister Audrey, who has done this challenge multiple times. I've seen it be hard, but I've also seen it be really successful, and so that was motivating to me too. Now, caveat, because one of the biggest parts of this challenge and what makes it so hard is that if you miss one of those things in a day, you start your 75 days over. I skipped this part. The reason I skipped this is, again, I was not trying to establish mental toughness. I am trying to establish healthy routines and patterns for myself. And part of that for me is having compassion and understanding towards myself instead of just pushing myself to do more. I can very easily just work myself into the ground. I can bully myself inside of my mind. I can make myself do just about anything. I'm trying to break some of those habits, which is part of why I was in this place in the first place. So I did a gentle version of 75 Hard, which meant I still worked to accomplish those 5 things every single day for 75 days in a row. But if I drank, 8 ounces less of water than I was supposed to for that day, I didn't start my challenge over. I just kept going, and that actually worked really well for me. Moving to the next thing. So, how transformative was this experience for me, and what were my results? While I did see some external and physical changes, I have before and after pictures because I took progress pictures every day for 75 days straight, and I can see differences between where I started and where I ended. However, I don't think that the physical changes necessarily for me mirrored how big those internal changes were. My strength, my stamina, my capacity, all of those increased greatly. It took about 2 to 3 weeks into the challenge before I really started to feel stronger. I could tell that I was in better shape. My energy increased significantly, and I started sleeping better. Again, right around that 2 to 3 week mark. And then that stayed pretty consistent for the entirety of the challenge. I had a few hiccups in there at different times because there were times that my work stress really spiked and that impacted my sleep. But overall, my daytime energy was so much more stable. Part of that is because from a dietary standpoint, I decreased my sugar intake almost completely. I took away caffeine and I was eating a lot more protein. So increasing my protein, my energy stabilized a lot. I wasn't finding that I was as hungry during the day and I wasn't having these like peaks and dips in my energy levels. And then taking away the caffeine and taking away the sugar, found that I just like steady energy throughout the day. And because I was moving so much more and spending more time outdoors, I also was sleeping a lot better at night and more consistently. And so that helped with my energy too. So yes, some physical changes were present, but the internal, I'm stronger, my energy is so much better, my outlook on life is better. Those things have been really significant and have stayed very consistent throughout the course of the time that I did the challenge. So how has this made me a better leader and a better business owner? Well, it's made me a better and a happier human as a whole, which has a direct impact and correlation on how I then show up for my team and what it looks like for me to show up at work. A really big part of that is removing a lot of the resentment that I was starting to feel for being so needed or relied upon at my job. I'm still needed, I'm still relied upon, but because I'm now also taking care of myself, and oftentimes I'm starting out my day by getting up, by getting my first workout of the day in, by eating breakfast, by getting ready. Like there are times by the time I get to work at 8:30, I've already spent 3 hours taking care of myself that morning. And that feels so good going into the day. Like I'm fed, I've exercised, I've cleaned my body, I'm ready to go. Like I feel supported. I have taken care of myself. I therefore now have a different capacity and energy and perspective going into a day where I'm then required or needed to take care of other people. And so I found that like my ability to handle the curveballs and the stress and the demands that come up being a business owner and being a team leader, I've been able to embrace, flex with, roll with so much differently because I'm not coming from a place of such emptiness at the beginning of every day. It also, sidebar, has made working in a restaurant less taxing on my body. Being in a restaurant, which is the business that I have, is very physically demanding. I'm a chef. I am standing on my feet for long hours at a time, sometimes 13 or 14 hours at a time. My meals can sometimes be more sporadic when I'm working. It's like I'm surrounded by food all the actual time. And then my time to eat that food is oftentimes pushed into these margins. And so being strong, doing strength training, increasing my cardiovascular strength, like my posture has improved, my core strength has improved. I just find that like at the end of a work day, I still have energy to go for a walk, to go for a run, to go for a hike. I'm not totally spent, and it's because I've been strengthening myself outside of work, and that's making my work hours actually much more manageable and much more sustainable for my body. Where do I go from here? I am a big fan of creating habits and setting goals. I am a firm belief and don't have any scientific data to back this up, but I think that we only create habits that we enjoy or see some sort of benefit from. I don't think that the habit forming rule that a lot of people follow, it's like you do it for 3 weeks and then it's a habit. I'm like, not if you don't want to do it. I can do something every day for 3 months, and if it's something that I'm not seeing benefit in, that I'm not enjoying, I can stop doing it for a day and I'm done. Like that habit was not formed, it was not set, because at the end of the day, it's not something that I'm finding a level of benefit or enjoyment from. There's not a reward. Like in order for something to really, I think, become habit, there has to be a reward in it, right? Like I don't just brush my teeth because I know that it's good for me. I brush my teeth because I like the way that my mouth and my teeth feel after I do. Like there's something in it that is reinforcing of why I do that in the first place. Out of the 5 daily goals in this challenge, the ones that I feel like I really latched onto and that I plan to continue doing, even though my 75 days is over, is doing an hour and a half worth of physical activity a day and breaking that up into 2 different workouts. I'm not trying to stick to a strict 45-45. I am still working to make sure that one of them is outdoors, but if I go for a hike and it's an hour, then I'm looking for another 30 minutes of something else at a different point in the day. I like the hour and a half total of physical fitness in the day, making sure that I'm also spending time outside. Drinking more water, although a gallon of water is too much for my body and for my size, so I've decreased that a bit. I'm still making it a goal to read, but also to spend some time journaling, and that doesn't happen every day, but I'm trying to do it more days than not. The healthy eating plans and habits that I made, I am still continuing with, making sure that I am eating about 140 grams of protein a day is my goal, that I'm getting lots of fruits and veggies and good carbs, especially in the morning as I'm getting the day started, having a blend of all of those things, and then no alcohol and limiting my sugar, and I'm still not drinking coffee. So that's where I'm at. Do I think it's worth it? I do think it's worth it. It has been worth it to me. I do think that it can depend on what your goals are, and that's something that's really important to consider when we're looking at health in a holistic way, and why I made the changes that I did as I was completing this challenge. I know that I have the ability to do something hard. I don't question that in myself, and I don't think that doing something hard is necessarily always healthy or always what's best for us. So I would encourage you, if you're considering this challenge, or if you're just thinking about ways that you could set some goals or make some changes in your life, really stop and think about what that overall goal is, and then define your more like separate and individual and daily goals from there. So for me, the goal wasn't mental toughness and get totally shredded. It was hold compassion for myself and be willing to accept the fact that missing something doesn't mean that I'm a failure and I don't need to punish myself for it. But I am important and I am worthy of being taken care of. And right now I'm the best person to take care of myself. And so how can I set time aside on a daily basis to do that so that I can be the person that I want to be in the world, that I can enjoy and be present in the life that I have, and so that I can show up and be the kind of friend, the kind of boss, the kind of teammate that I want to be for the people that are in my life, in my world as well. So if you have questions, if you want to chat about it, if you have thoughts, please no comments on my physical appearance. That is not why I am making this video, and that's not necessarily helpful to me. So if you have thoughts, questions, opinions that are not appearance related, drop those in the comments below, and I would love to chat with you.